With that, if anybody has any questions, I have a couple of minutes left. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Well, I just want to say that I can attest to the responsiveness of my 311 app. I've used it. I have it on my phone. I used it twice. I've used it for street lighting in front of my house, and they came out right away, actually. They came out like the next day the lights were working. And I also used it for sidewalk repair, which was around my house. The sidewalks are just as Kevin described it. They're like buckled like this. But one of them had a piece of rebar sticking out of it. Oh, and I said, you know, this was, and I'm right near a high school, so I knew this was a real serious accident waiting to happen. So I took a picture of that, and within a week, it was all repaired. I mean, the sidewalk is still buckled, but they cut off the rebar and they covered it up.
Although what's important there is because you reported that, and this is very important, I tell people, if you see a sidewalk that you want repaired, even if you don't think it's on the list, report it now, because it's in the system.
Right.
So when our ADA compliance coordinator, when they look for the worst sidewalks, your report is in the system.
Yeah.
So they're going to rate it, and so it's going to, chances are, obviously, it's going to be reported repaired earlier than it would have otherwise. So that's how we're making our inventory.
What do you do about the trees that are causing the sidewalks?
That's a very, very big question, obviously, and part of our Operation Street Trees is in partnership with the sidewalk repair plan. Many of the buckled sidewalks, 70% of them to 80% of them, it's what our estimate is, and maybe worse, are because of tree roots. And we don't want to just strip, obviously, the tree canopy around the city. So we have a very stringent replacement policy for any tree that we have to take out. It's a requirement of a 2-to-1 replacement at site, and we're working right now to make that part of, and I believe we'll be successful. But it's part of the budget of the sidewalk repair plan. There are some trees that are going to have to be removed. We're going to try not to remove the ones that obviously that can be kept there, but some of them are not going to be able to be kept. For those that have to be removed, we have a 2-to-1 replacement plan. There's some concern, and that we're still working through. You don't want to replace a very mature, beautiful tree with a couple of saplings, because obviously the impact. So we're deciding in some areas. There are a number of different methods that we're working with our Community Forest Advisory Council on what the replacement requirements are going to be in some areas. But it's going to be a constant challenge through the entire sidewalk repair plan. But by the way, one of the things that we have done that we do know that we didn't know in the 70s, and I'm a music guy of the 70s, so 80s were college for me, 70s high school for me. In the 70s, when these developers loved planting ficus trees, not the greatest idea. We are much more better educated on what types of trees are good coordinates with sidewalks, and we have a limit on what the replacement trees can be. There are wide choices, but they're sidewalk friendly. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I want to piggyback. First of all, I too can vouch that the app was amazing, 311. However, the website not so much.
Okay.
We had a recent experience at work. I went to 311's website at the advice of our city councilman's office.
Which council are you? 3? Blumenfield?
Blumenfield.
Okay. I don't know where she lives. It's just a guess.
No, it was at work.
Okay.
It had to do with illegal dumping, and every other day we were reporting it to 311. 10 days go by, we're reporting it every single day. Then I happened to be driving down Victory when I noticed a sign saying something about do not enter property of the county of Los Angeles. I notified county, it was cleaned up right away. What my concern was is why didn't somebody from the city get back to me in those 2 weeks to tell us it wasn't a city problem and we needed to notify the county?
I don't know. Obviously, we should have.
Yeah, I don't know how often they monitor the website.
Typically, what's frustrating to me is when our crews are out there, why can't our crews just pick up the trash is my question. And we have jurisdictional issues with other governments. And You know, and so what we do is we notify the county. We should have notified the county once we received that notification. One of the things, though, that I always tell people, my email address is on the back. If you'll email me a complaint like we just heard, I can forward it to the Bureau so that in the future, the Bureau will always notify the county when they get that kind of complaint. Okay?
We have time for one more. Okay, we have time for two more because I also saw Natalia's hand. So one in the back that you just called on, and then Natalia, and then we'll have to wrap it.
Yes, sir.
I actually want to do an acknowledgement because you're kind of a rare that we don't get to see very often. The one-time Republican rival to Eric Garcetti, serving as the leader and president of one of the key agencies. And I want to thank you for that, because if we saw more of that on the state level and even more so on the federal level, things would be a lot better. And I wanted to thank you publicly for that, and also for your service to APLA. I don't know if the people in this room know who you are, what you've done. I certainly do, and I thank you.
No,
you're a good man.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, it's interesting. I do. Sometimes I talk to political groups, and I'm still a Republican. They ask me about being a Republican in the Garcetti administration. I say that, you know, a number of Mayor Garcetti's recent hires, including the most recent Deputy Mayor Jeff Gorell, is a Republican. I say we have enough now. We have our own caucus if we wanted to, which we don't. This is a nonpartisan job, but we all work well together. But I get invited to talk to Republican groups sometimes, and I'll give them kind of the Republican version of what we're doing in public works, because that's what they want to hear. One of the things that I include is that we are able to, since we've been in office, get 200 more miles of paving for the same budget money. Well, and because of the confidence that the mayor and the council has in us, they dipped us a few more million this year because they know that we're going to be able to. But that money, where did that money go? That money went to homelessness. All right, to another critical issue that we have in the city of Los Angeles. So we're able to contribute to that because we're getting more out of the work that we're getting in. We can't take all the credit in the sense that I do take credit for the mayor in the sense that he is a technology mayor. And that's very important because we are able to do these technological, and because you have to invest in technology to get there. Axoff technology costs money. But it's penny wise and pound foolish to not spend the money for the technology, because in another year or so you've got your money back plus more. So thank you for saying that. AIDS Project Los Angeles, very near and dear to my heart. I just read the morning report. It's 30 years of the Necessities of Life program, which is a food bank. It shaped in many ways. I learned at a very young age community service. And nonprofits working with governmental agencies, and it's greatly shaped the work that I do now, and I still do as much with them as I can. Interestingly enough, I'm working with them now on some of the old legislation around HIV and AIDS is so outdated, and so we're working with the state legislature to bring California up to modern times. And yes, ma'am.
I love to plant trees. I never have in areas that weren't like my own private yard or somebody else's, but it's a question that's been on my mind. Can I plant,
yes.
as you were saying, ficus is not good, so is there like a list that
there
I should
is.
go look for?
Yeah. So we have, and there's it's a color handout that we have, but it's also online. If you go to the Street Services website, the Urban Forestry Division is part of the Street Services website. So I would take you to two places. We also have a group called City Plants, and City Plants is it's a nonprofit partner with the City of Los Angeles. They actually they have office space that we lend them for the work that they do, because they're City Plants. They obviously help manage all of the tree planting in the City of Los Angeles. They're a nonprofit because we're able to go out with that structure and raise outside money to add to the work to the work that they do. But City Plants and our Urban Forestry Division, either one of them will direct you to very nice guides on what trees are best to plant. Tells you all kinds of things, probably more than you want to know. Okay. And at the same location, for people that want to plant in parkways, because we had all these cumbersome, somewhat ridiculous rules on planting in parkways that were really, kind of getting in the way of folks just trying to beautify their community. So we kind of threw out the old and brought in the new that's much less stringent, but we have guidelines and there's some helpful information on various other types of ground cover that are drought tolerant as well.
Okay.
And we give the drought tolerant information in the, for the trees too.
Awesome.
Trees generally are drought tolerant, the experts will tell you just as a whole, but some are more so than others. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.